Nicholas Balassi from Just the News joining us now to sort out a little bit more of what the lawmakers are getting close to. It was $1.9 trillion at the 1st of October, Nicholas. Now it's $908 billion last time I heard. What are you hearing?
Yeah, so the bipartisan working group put out that $908 billion package. They've split it into two. So they've got $750 billion in one package for unemployment insurance, for the small business relief from the Paycheck Protection Program, education funding, and other areas. Then they've got a separate bill that they're considering, which is the state and local funding from the federal government for stimulus during the pandemic and the liability protections for businesses. So they've split that into two, and it's up for debate. Now, at the same time, we've got the omnibus bill, which is the appropriations, short-term appropriations bill that looks like it's going to cover through September 2021. That's around $1.4 trillion right now, based on current projections. So we'll have to see where they go. But right now, the sense is they're going to do one large bill with the stimulus and the appropriations, regular appropriations, and do it all at once. But we've got that deadline, midnight tonight, for regular appropriations. So maybe they'll pass something for a couple days to get them through the weekend as they work on that larger compromise.
Well, we've been hearing that there's a chance that there may be stimulus checks in there for the American people. Have you heard any details on whether that is a definite? And we've been hearing anywhere from $600 to that $1,200 we saw the last time. Any details on that?
That's a good question, because up to this point, the sense has been no stimulus checks because the bipartisan group, led in the House by members like Tom Reed, who's the co-chair of the House Problem Solvers Caucus, the sense was no payments because lawmakers couldn't really agree on whether that should be part of it or not. But now I'm hearing from sources close to the process that there will be some sort of direct payments in there. The question is how much. So I've heard the smallest being $600 up to the $1,200 that was in the CARES Act that was passed in March. We're just going to have to see. But I think in the end, you know, sometimes it's hard to make predictions with this stuff, but I think in the end, they'll probably do some sort of stimulus on top of the regular appropriations, which will be around $1.4 trillion. I think the stimulus could be, you know, at $750 billion with that one bill that they're considering for relief. And they may add payments on top of that, because the leadership seems to want it. Pelosi seems to want that in there. And so we'll see. I think that'll probably get added in. The state and local funding may be left out this time. The business liability protections may be left out. But Majority Leader Hoyer has said, look, whatever we do right now, that's a short-term solution, because when Biden's in office, they're looking for another round of stimulus. That's what I'm hearing right now from the leadership in the House.
Well, of course they are. It's just money, Nicholas. You know, they make it new every day. It's fresh, right off the printer press, warm and everything. If I'm not mistaken, you just said $1.4 trillion for regular spending, $800 billion close enough. They're going to spend $2.2 trillion over the weekend. And what are you and I going to get out of that? Anything at all?
And plus the defense bill that they just passed, which is $740 billion. So, yeah, it could be over $3 trillion in the month of December. And I have to say, if you look at the projections, we've got, a $3.3 trillion projected deficit by the end of this year. And then we've got, looking forward to the end of 2021, the debt will exceed the size of the entire U.S. economy, which a lot of people projected, people who follow this projected maybe 2026. We would hit that milestone. We're probably going to hit it by the end of 2021. The fiscal situation in this country is definitely something that Congress is going to have to look at addressing at some point, because there's really no discussion, even pre-pandemic, there was no discussion of reducing the federal budget. I would go around and ask, well, what areas do you think we could cut? Where can we find some savings? There's really no agreement, no consensus on where we can make reductions on regular appropriations. So
Yeah.
the pandemic's just kind of accelerated the level of spending we've already seen over the past 5 years, and a little bit more than that.
Wow.
If you go back even further, they've been spending at record levels for a long time.
Well, I know a lot of restaurants are wondering what's going to happen this weekend. Nicholas Balassi with Just the News, thank you so much. Check out his work at justthenews.com. Really quickly, Steve, I want to...